Hello friend, this is Akash Misere and I welcome back to my YouTube channel, that is Mechanical Engineering Make Easy. And in previous lecture I have concluded with fluid mechanics of GATE syllabus only. Okay, I haven't covered all the syllabus. I am only covering the GATE syllabus, and now I am moving towards the subject, that is turbo machinery. Turbo machinery also too much vast subject, but for GATE point of view only 2 to 3 lectures are needed. So I will cover that all topics which needs for GATE point of view. Okay, so this is first lecture. I will start. So first point is net head. Okay, what is net head? Net head means gross head minus head loss. Gross head means what amount of head we have. You can take example of any dam. So what amount of head we have at the dam, so that is gross head. And the losses means that water we have to take from dam to the turbine. So before that there are number of pipelines are there, so the losses are going to take place. So this is the that loss. Okay, gross head minus loss of head will give us net head. Okay, then what exactly the value of this HF? HF is nothing but we can say the frictional loss which we have studied in case of flow through pipes, and the equation is 4FLV square upon 2GD. Okay, 2GD. This is diameter, okay, velocity, length, coefficient of friction, and acceleration due to gravity. So all parameters will give us the value of HF, that is head loss due to friction, we can say. Okay, this is all about net head. Note down all the formulas. Then hydraulic efficiency. Hydraulic efficiency, that is eta hydraulic, which is equal to runner power upon water power. Firstly I have to give you one idea about power calculation. Okay, assume this is one dam which is completely filled with water, and we have taken one outlet from here. Okay, and here we have implemented turbine, and from that turbine the power will be given to generator, and from this we will get the supply, that is electric supply. Okay, this is the broad view of our hydroelectric power plant. It is dam means reservoir of water. The water will flow from this pipeline to turbine. After that turbine the water will go outlet. This is the outlet of water will flow downward, and the power generated, this will be mechanical power, and that mechanical power with the help of shaft will be given to generator. This is generator, this is turbine. Okay, and generator will convert that mechanical power into electrical power. So at the outlet of generator we will get electrical power. Okay, this is all the brief view of hydroelectric power plant. So in that, this is Hg, that is gross head available. And what happens, because of some frictional losses the head available will be decreases, and this is H net, net heat available, that we have studied that formula, gross head minus HF. So this is the net head, and after that what happens, this water, the power from water, uh, this will be going to convert. Here there will be inside the turbine there is runner. Runner means the wheel, okay, which have a number of blades, and the water will strike on that blades, and that blades are going to rotate because of that striking of water. Okay, so this is the power available, we can say. This is available power, that is rho g q h. Okay, this is available power, that is gross head discharge from this pipeline G and rho. Okay, this is available power, and the power we are getting in means we are able to convert into mechanical power, that is nothing but runner power. Means runner takes that much amount of power from water, so that is runner power. So it is runner power. Runner power is nothing but rho g qs minus some losses. Okay, and that losses are because of the conversion of that water power into runner power. Okay, so this is runner power, and after that what happens, this runner power is going to transfer to the shaft which is coupled with generator. So while transferring that power from runner to the shaft, there are also too much losses like friction losses and etc. So the power available at shaft is nothing but shaft power. Okay, and after that we will get at outlet the overall outlet power, that is PO, after generation of electricity. So that power is PO. This is all the power flow of hydroelectric power plant. And so draw this figure if possible, and I will move forward. Take the note of all the powers, that rho g QH, and after that runner power, then shaft power, and then output power. Okay, this is too much important concept. So now I will move forward, and I was discussing the hydraulic efficiency, eta hydraulic. Hydraulic efficiency is nothing but runner power to water power. Means water was having some power, and from that water we are going to generate the runner power. But what happens, because of some losses, that whole amount of water power is not going to transfer into runner power. That's why the losses occurs, and that losses we are going to tackle with, or calculate with this, that is hydraulic efficiency. So that is nothing but runner power upon water power. Okay, next is mechanical efficiency, that is eta mechanical, and which is nothing but shaft power upon runner power. Okay, what is mechanical efficiency? The runner have developed some power, but what happens, because of frictions and etc., that mechanical power is available at the runner, and the shaft is also takes mechanical power, but because of some losses there like friction and etc., the losses occurs, and that losses we are going to coordinate with that losses with the help of mechanical efficiency. So what is mechanical efficiency? That is nothing but the shaft power upon runner power. Okay, so overall efficiency. What is overall efficiency? Overall efficiency denoted by eta O, which is equal to hydraulic efficiency into mechanical efficiency, and which is equal to shaft power upon water power. Okay, shaft power upon water power, this is overall efficiency. Or if we have the value of hydraulic efficiency and mechanical efficiency, then we have to simply multiply both efficiencies, then we will get the overall efficiency. Okay, so note it down, this is also too much important concept. Next point, and that is very much big point, that is nothing but the Pelton wheel. Okay, turbines have number of types like simple turbine, then reaction turbine, and etc., or otherwise the axial flow turbine and etc. But this is very simplest form of turbine, that is nothing but the Pelton wheel. Okay, so I will draw the cross section of bucket. Okay, what happens? the wheel is likewise and the water goes likewise. Here that bucket is, but that bucket have shape likewise. Okay, that bucket have shape likewise. Okay, and the water will pour here, and because of that the runner will run. Okay, so that's the case. The bucket is here and the cross section of that bucket I am saying, so water strikes here and goes here and here. Okay, this is the cross section of that bucket. So I will draw now the velocity triangles. That because velocity triangles are too much important, other things are not too much important in case of turbo machinery. Okay, and it is symmetrical about this line. Okay, so this is inlet velocity triangle, this is outlet velocity triangle. So I will note all the values. So this total is V1, means how much velocity the water is striking on that blades, that is V1, which is equal to VW1. VW is nothing but world component of velocity. Okay, and that is the component of velocity between the flow velocity and the actual velocity. Okay, and there is another parameter, that is nothing but U1 and VR1. U1 is nothing but the bucket velocity at the inlet, and VR1 is nothing but the relative velocity. Okay, this is the velocity of water, this is the velocity of bucket, this is relative velocity, this is world component of velocity, and there is one component that is nothing but the flow component of velocity, that is Vf1, which is equal to 0 here, but it is available here, that is Vf2. Okay, then another parameters like this is VR2, this is V2. Okay, it is actual velocity at this point, this is the relative velocity at this point, and this is flow component of velocity. And the whirl component of velocity is always we have to locate between the actual component and flow component, so that is VW2. And the U component of velocity, that is nothing but the velocity of blade, that we have to locate between flow component and relative component. Okay, that is absolute and relative. Sorry, I was by mistake I have said that. This is U2, and which we have to locate in between actual and relative velocity, that is nothing but the U, that is bucket velocity. This is all about the velocity triangle, and again there are, this is phi, this is beta, and alpha equal to theta, which is equal to 0. What are these angles? The angle between the relative velocity to with horizontal, that is the phi. Okay, and this is at the 2, at the 1 that angle was theta. Then second, that is the angle between the absolute velocity with horizontal, that is beta, and here that is alpha. Okay, with absolute velocity angles are alpha and beta, with relative velocity angles are theta and phi. And this is flow component of velocity. Here that flow component of velocity is present, but here that flow component of velocity is absent, so that Vf1 is 0. This is all about the velocity triangle. Draw this figure. If you have any confusion, then you can comment me. Okay, so again one term remain, that is nothing but, this is phi we know, but this is the angle of deflection. Angle of deflection and it is generally 165 degree if not given. Okay, if you haven't given the value of that angle, that is angle of deflection, then you can take that value as 165 degree. This is general value of that. Okay, so draw this figure. I will move towards next. In today's lecture, I will finish all the Pelton wheel concept. Okay, so in case of Pelton wheel, what happens at the end of that pipeline which I have drawn? Okay, here there will be one nozzle. From that nozzle, the flow will have all the head, that is nothing but the velocity head. Not any kind of pressure head will present. Means the pressure of that water will be atmospheric pressure, and all the head will be converted into the velocity head. Okay, and in case of reaction turbines, there we are using the pressure head also. But in case of Pelton wheel, as it is very simplest form of turbine, we are going to use all the velocity head, not any pressure head. So forces exerted by fluid on bucket. That bucket was there, okay, and the force exerted by fluid on that bucket, that is denoted by F, which is equal to m dot into Vw1 plus minus Vw2. These are whirl component of velocity at inlet, at outlet, and this is m dot is mass flow rate, which is nothing but rho into Q, which is equal to rho A V1. Okay, this is area, this is V1, that is velocity at inlet, absolute velocity. These all the parameters are there, and so the next point is nothing but the sign. As we have given here two signs, that is plus and minus. So when that sign will be plus and when that sign will be minus. So if phi is less than 90 degree, that sign will be positive, and if phi is greater than 90 degree, then that sign will be negative. Okay, so we are considering it as the positive. Phi is less than 90 degree. Okay, so then the formula becomes likewise, that is F equal to m dot into Vw1 plus Vw2, and m dot is nothing but rho into Q. Okay, so note down all the formulas. Then power developed by wheel. So what happens for power? Power is nothing but F into V, and so what the velocity, that is nothing but the U. Okay, so power becomes rho Q Vw1 plus Vw2 into U, that is nothing but the velocity of bucket. Okay, so this is power developed, that is nothing but the rho Q Vw1 plus Vw2 into U. Then I will move towards hydraulic efficiency and that parameters. If you have any confusion, then you can comment me, because I am clearing all the concepts, but again some number of time limitation is there, so there may be chances that you will not understand all the concepts properly. Okay, what is hydraulic efficiency? Hydraulic efficiency is nothing but twice Vw1 plus Vw2 into U divided by V1 square. So how this formula came? That at the first I was saying that all the pressure head also we are going to transfer into velocity head. So ultimately all the velocity heads value, if we are going to assume in case of energy, then that value becomes the kinetic energy, and the kinetic energy is nothing but half m dot into V1 square. At the inlet this much amount of energy is available, and at the outlet we have calculated that is nothing but the m dot into Vw1 plus Vw2 into U. Okay, so ultimately what happens, m dot vw1 plus vw2 into u divided by m dot v1 square divided by 2. So m dot will get cancelled, this 2 will be at upside, and this is the formula. Okay, means at inlet the energy available is nothing but the kinetic energy, which is half m dot v1 square, and at outlet we have calculated that is nothing but the power. Okay, this is hydraulic efficiency. Note down this formula, this is too much important. Next concept, okay, so for maximum efficiency, okay, for maximum efficiency, that is okay, we should have u, that is v1 by 2. Okay, this is the condition for maximum efficiency. What was the formula of that hydraulic efficiency? If we need that hydraulic efficiency at maximum extent, then that u should be v1 by 2, then we will get the maximum efficiency. Okay, then next concept, again the hydraulic efficiency also divided into two types, or into two terms, that is nothing but the wheel efficiency into nozzle efficiency. Because what happens, the water is going to strike the buckets via nozzle, so ultimately nozzle plays too much important role. In that nozzle, what is happens, the area decreases and velocity increases, so because of that number of losses may occur, that's why the nozzle efficiency plays the role. And in case of wheel is also not capable to take all the power from water, the losses are there, so that's why the efficiency of wheel. So combination of wheel efficiency and nozzle efficiency, that is hydraulic efficiency. Okay, and next is nothing but jet ratio. Jet ratio is nothing but, okay, small d upon capital reverse, that is, which is denoted by m, and which is equal to capital D upon small d. This is wheel diameter, that is nothing but the turbine diameter we can say, and this is nozzle diameter. This is nozzle diameter, this is wheel diameter, means wheel diameter to the nozzle diameter, this is the jet ratio. Okay, note down this formula also, they may ask to calculate the jet ratio. Now bonus point, I am covering all the points with the regard of gate. Okay, if you need too much detailed explanation, then you can ask me, then definitely I will give all the detailed explanation. So in bonus point I have the point that is nothing but the bucket dimensions. In case of bucket, there are number of dimensions like width, thickness, and etc, etc. So all the parameters are depends on the jet diameter, or likewise. So what is axial width? Okay, it is denoted by B, which is equal to 3 to 5 times small d. Okay, and that small d is nothing but the jet diameter. So ultimately the values are dependent on jet diameter, because as jet diameter is going to increase, the strength should be increased of that bucket. Then radial height, which is denoted by L, and which is equal to 2 to 3 times jet diameter, again jet diameter here. Okay, then depth means we can say the thickness of that bucket. Okay, what I have shown in that cross section, that is the depth, and that is equal to 0.8 to 1.2 of jet diameter. Again jet diameter plays the major role in all the dimensions. And the bucket exit angle, what was that? That phi. that is phi nearly between 10 degree to 20 degree, and that's why generally we takes phi as 15 degree, and that's why angle of deflection which is equal to 165 degree if not specified. If this is 165 degree, then ultimately phi is 15 degree. And why phi is 15 degree? Because if we don't know value of phi, then phi lies between 10 to 20 degree, then we are assuming phi as 15 degree. Okay, this is all the bucket dimensions. There may be question from these dimensions, that's why I am giving you. Note it down all the formulas, and please let me know that you have enjoyed the session or not. The comment box is open for you, and if you have enjoyed, then like and share my session, and if you are new to my channel, then subscribe. Thank you friends, and in next lecture I will come up with reaction turbine concept. Okay, so thank you friends.